Hello, hello. So, some of you might know I've been fasting for many days. Um, Yesterday, I decided, well, it started the night before. Me and Sean went out, and I decided to have a drink, which I only needed one, right? When your body's clear and you're putting things in it that it's not used to, it has a way of affecting you instantly, right? Anyway, and then last night I decided to eat, and this morning I couldn't wake up. My body was just like, over, uh, unable to move, maybe a food comatose. So I decided that during this fast that I deserve a reward, right? And my reward was food, and so Um, you're probably not you probably should not um, clear your body and then go right back in with shrimp, rice is too much for your system. He also made steak chicken. I didn't eat that. I had shrimp and rice, and even though it was shrimp and rice and veggies, and I didn't eat a lot. It didn't take a lot to lay me out, so to speak. And I also had a little glass of wine. And so this morning when I woke up, I couldn't open my eyes and I couldn't get up. And so for the next, I believe there's 9 days left of my fast, right? 25. No, 8 days, right? 20, yeah. And so completely just water is what I'm going to be doing. And then also either the last day or the last 3 days, if I'm available to do so, I'm not going to speak. I'm going to go into a silent retreat inside myself, so to speak. So this way I can hear from the inside out instead of from the outside in, right? Which I know I can do if I was in my own space, but Zion, obviously, I have to speak to. So we'll see how it goes, and I'm not sure if I'm going to do 1 or 3 days, but I'm being called to be silent, and so I can hear clearly what God is trying to say to me. And so I can move myself out of the way and hear the depths of which is being asked of me at this time and space. Because sometimes, you're going on a path, and whether you've chosen it or God's chosen it for you, or it was a combined thing, you have to stop and say, is this the same path that you want me on, right? And so, and sometimes we get in our own way to hear what is clearly being asked for the greatest good of the world and ourselves. And so I feel like I'm being called to be silent so I can tune in to that purest sound of intuition, right? That maybe I'm not paying attention to. Because what happens is that we have our flesh and our spirit, and they're in a constant battle sometimes, right? A constant battle of what's right for us, right? So sometimes we can, for me personally, the way I operate is I always find the good in every bad. So that means I can adapt to any situation, but should I be adapting is the question, right? Just because I'm strong and resilient and have faith and able, does that mean that I'm supposed to allow what I see to seems like that needs to be a whole new video, but I'm just thankful and grateful that I can take back my willpower and allow my power to flow in a way that allows me instantly when I say I'm not going to do something, nothing tempts me. I'm not tempted. If I make a choice to make another decision, it's because I chose that. It's not because I was tempted to do so. It was because I wanted to do it. I've been not like that my whole life. And so, for instance, I don't smoke, but if I want to smoke a cigarette and I want to smoke them for 3 months, I will. And if I want to quit for 3 years, I will. I don't have an addictive personality. I can do something and then mentally, by the strength of my mind and my heart, I can say no more. And that goes for everything. And they say how you do one thing is how you do all things. And I know that's true for me. So, thank you for joining me this morning, afternoon. Time is not real. I am grateful that I am still able to show up for myself, and I hope this inspires you to do a fast and maybe sacrifice something just to see where you're at, right? Because fasting is a way to test yourself, your willpower, and see where you at see where you're at mentally. See if your strength has wavered. Because there's been a couple times in the last year that I tried to have a fast, and my mind I wasn't there. I wasn't able to shut it off, and I wasn't there yet. And so everything is in divine timing. You don't beat yourself up for not being able to stick to your plan or your goals or God's plan. You don't do that. There's enough people in the world that are going to chastise, judge, belittle. You don't do that to yourself. You honor yourself in every space and place you're in. And you give yourself grace, right? Because who is perfect? Nobody's perfect. But if we show up to love and have compassion and have intention and integrity, no matter what, then things will work out in our favor, even if we have a rough patch. You have to understand that all things need to take place, good and bad. Everything has to happen in order for you to be able to see, feel, and know. It's just not like everything laid out there for you in a grand orchestration. It's by trial and error, right? And so for me, I know that my whole life things have happened, and every time they happen, I say, what is this teaching me? And whatever it's teaching me, I'm going to be able to teach to others, right? And so when I enter spaces and places that might be challenging, I embrace them because I know the magnitude of what I am experiencing isn't just for me. It's going to be the catalyst that I embody to assist others in the same way that I was able to move and navigate through these frictions, right? And so, is it easy? Not always. But can I find peace in every place that tries to take you off your course or off your path? Can you keep your peace, right? And that's by having inside you, understanding your value, understanding that what's being thrown at you is not always yours, and just staying solid, grounded in your truth and your knowing and who you are, and not letting other people's words penetrate, right? We don't allow other people's pain to penetrate us if they're speaking over us. We don't do that. What we do is we say, is that mine? Where's that coming from? And we don't chastise them back either. We understand that most people's operating from their pain body, right? And so if you're being attacked verbally, or if someone cannot hear you and you're just trying to communicate, then the way to deal with that energy is to see them human, right? To speak your truth in a compassionate way that clears the way for everyone to stay in a love vibration. Because we can get mad at people for saying things to us that aren't us, right? We can get mad and we can battle and we can fight back. Sometimes that's necessary. I'm not saying it's not. Or we can learn how to adjust our viewing of the situation and see the big picture and allow ourselves to hold a space of love no matter what. And it doesn't mean you have to stay in environments that aren't healthy for you. That's not what I'm saying. Or have conversations with people that can't hear you or see you. It just means that to see everybody as yourself. Because maybe you're in a different space and place than them. And maybe you were there before. So take yourself back into that space and place that you were in however long ago and see them attempting to get there. And that's how you hold the space of love. That's how you hold the space, the vibration of love. And you hold a field of unity that allows others to be fucking human and make mistakes. But here's the thing. The more times people, all of us, make mistakes on repeat, the same repeated cycle of mistakes, because once you know better, you should do better. And so if the same thing is showing up on repeat in your environment and the places you're traveling and going and seeing and the people you're communicating with, if the same friction, the same discord is happening, then it's time to reevaluate yourself and then also allow the other person time and space to reevaluate themselves, because cycles, loops will just keep continuing if we don't allow a moment of pause to reflect and say, why is this still happening, right? Why is this keep showing up? And so then you can fine tune yourself, and they, whoever, whatever situation it is, can fine tune themselves and say, okay, I don't like this feeling, I don't want it to happen, how can I change it? And so why every time I'm presented with this is my reaction to it, right? And if we can change our reaction from an understanding place, then we can change that lesson cycle, discord from continuing. That's how we repel it. We are aware of, when I do this, this happens, and I don't like it. So what can I do different for a different result? Because the definition of it, insanity, is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. And so how long have you been doing that, right? How long have you been doing the same thing and expecting something different? So my prayer is that we would be self-aware of our patterns, behaviors, and if we don't know how to open up our hearts to our pain body so we can understand why we act the way we act, then, and you're ready to, then there's people to help you. So I do private sessions if you're looking for guidance, not healing. And I say, healers, but nobody's anybody's healer, because nobody could do the work for you. I could give you the roadmap, I could give you the compass, I could say, this is what worked for me, it might not work for you. I can give you tools to navigate things I've been through. You have to actually do it. Only you can open up what's inside you and activate it. All your gifts, all your talents, all your desires. And only you can let go of all that fear that's been keeping you in bondage long enough. You're the only one that can do it. So I pray and I ask you today to just a little bit of self-awareness on your behaviors will go a long way, because then you can say, this is my pattern. And so I know that when I do this, this happens, and I don't like it, so I'm going to do something different when that happens. What can I do different, right? And that's how we create a different vibration that amplifies out. It's a wave, it's a vibration of amplification. And so everything you do matters. And if you're speaking words against yourself, you're creating a narrative you don't like. You're creating it. So choose your words wisely. Speak positivity to yourself. Self-talk is huge. How are you speaking to yourself? Is it in a loving way? I mean, when you look at yourself in the mirror in the morning, talk to yourself. Speak to that beautiful, innocent child that's still in there, waiting for you. Nobody's waiting on God. God is waiting on us to tap in and get real. And so I pray that this made sense to you, and I love you. If you guys need any assistance, any guidance, I'm here. Have a blessed day.